No one thought the Brown family would end up here, under the cold fluorescent lights of a courtroom, where every secret has a witness and every truth has a cost. The same family that once smiled through television screens, preaching unity, love, and faith, now stands divided, their whispers turning into accusations, their vows into evidence. This is not just a family dispute, the judge had said, tapping the gavel once, the sound slicing through the tension like a blade. This is about betrayal, control, and truth. The rain hadn't stopped since morning. It drummed against the courthouse windows like an impatient heartbeat, echoing the tension that had already filled the air. Reporters lined the hallway, cameras poised, waiting for the door to open. Inside, under the dim fluorescent lights, the Brown family sat divided for the first time in years. No smiles, no togetherness, just four women, one man, and an ocean of silence between them. The judge's voice cracked through that silence. Case number 4527. The state versus Kody Brown. Every head lifted, every breath tightened. Kody shifted in his seat, eyes locked straight ahead, pretending calm. But his fingers told the truth. Tapping, twitching, restless. Robyn sat closest to him, clutching a tissue she hadn't yet used. Her face was pale, but her gaze was unwavering, loyal to the man beside her. Across the aisle, Christine leaned forward, chin high, jaw tight. You could see the years of restraint breaking through her composure. Next to her, Janelle looked torn, guilt in her eyes, hesitation in her heart, and Mary. She didn't look angry or sad. She looked free. If you could feel freedom and heartbreak at the same time, that was the look on Mary's face. It's strange how fast a family can turn into opponents. One day, you're sharing dinners, raising children, filming reality TV. The next, you're divided by rows of wooden benches and legal teams. The sister wives had built their lives on a promise of unity, a family bigger than society's rules. But now, those same rules were about to judge them. The prosecution rose first. A young woman in a gray suit, sharp, confident, unshaken by the celebrity eyes around her. She spoke clearly. This case is not about faith. It's about fraud, coercion, and emotional harm. The words hung in the air like smoke. Fraud, coercion, harm. Each one a knife twisting deeper. Kody's lawyer objected, but the judge motioned him to wait. The prosecutor continued. For years, Mr. Brown managed multiple households, financially and emotionally, in ways that blurred the line between love and control. But evidence will show that he diverted funds meant for the family, kept secrets that manipulated trust, and... She paused, turning toward Christine, and silenced those who dared to question him. Christine's eyes glistened, not with tears, with validation. Finally, someone was saying it out loud. Sometimes justice doesn't start with a verdict. It starts the moment someone believes your pain. The defense countered quickly. Kody's lawyer stood, older, steady. Your Honor, this is a family dispute, not a criminal act. The Browns live by faith, not force. The money, every cent, was used to support 18 children and 4 households. This is a misunderstanding blown up for cameras and ratings, but the judge wasn't moved. He leaned forward, voice low, then explained the tape. The room froze. Tape? Whispers fluttered through the gallery. Robyn stiffened. Christine's lip trembled. Even Kody blinked, caught off guard. The prosecutor smiled slightly. Yes, Your Honor. There is an audio recording. We'll submit it as evidence in due time. Narrator lowers voice, conspiratorial. No one knew then what that tape contained. But the look on Robyn's face said enough. Whatever it wasn't meant to see daylight. Secrets don't stay buried forever, especially when they're recorded. Outside the courtroom, the storm raged harder. Inside, Christine's thoughts wandered back, years earlier, to the days when love was simpler, or maybe just disguised. She remembered the family meetings, Kody's hand gestures, his way of making every disagreement sound like her fault. She remembered the smiles for the cameras, the rehearsed lines about spiritual harmony. And she remembered the night she decided it was enough. The night Kody told her she was breaking the family. That phrase echoed through her now as she watched him pretend to be the victim. Breaking the family. She almost laughed. The family was already broken. He just didn't see it until he lost control of it. Janelle shifted uncomfortably. She had always been the logical one, the mediator, the one who kept the peace. But now she felt like the bridge everyone was walking over and no one was saving. She knew about the bank accounts. She knew about the transfers. She knew too much to stay quiet, yet too loyal to speak. The first witness was called, a family accountant. His voice was nervous, his hands shaky. He spoke about missing funds, private withdrawals, and a pattern that suggested someone was moving money into an unregistered trust. Each time he said the name Kody Brown, you could see the defendant's jaw tighten a little more. Then, the accountant said something that made everyone shift in their seats. The trust was named Eternal Faith Holdings, and it lists only 2 signatures, Kody Brown and Robyn Brown. Gasps ripples through the room. Robyn's face drained of color. Christine whispered something to Janelle, and Mary just closed her eyes, as if she'd expected this all along. The prosecutor leaned in. So, to be clear, Mr. Brown created a financial entity excluding his other wives. The same wives who helped generate the income that funded it? Yes, ma'am, the accountant replied. In families built on trust, betrayal isn't a mistake, it's a decision. Kody's lawyer objected again, claiming religious freedom and spiritual marriage autonomy. But the judge cut him off. Financial fraud is not a spiritual matter, counselor. The courtroom stirred again, and Kody finally spoke, his voice tight, controlled. You don't understand our faith, he said. We built something beautiful together. Now everyone wants to tear it apart for money and revenge. Christine laughed, quietly, but enough for him to hear. He glared at her, eyes burning with a mixture of anger and hurt. The camera lights from the press flashed as if punctuating the moment. Behind every great family story, there's a moment where love dies. This was theirs. Right there on record, under oath, the judge called for a recess. The Brown family rose slowly, like a house collapsing in slow motion. Outside, the rain had turned to hail. Christine walked past Kody without a glance, and Robyn whispered something to him, a plea or a warning, no one knew. Janelle lingered behind, caught between loyalty and truth, between what was right and what was safe. Just as everyone began to leave the room, the prosecutor spoke again. Your Honor, before we adjourn for the day, I'd like to submit one more item for the record. She held up a small black flash drive. This is the audio recording previously mentioned, to be authenticated and played tomorrow morning. Kody's face went pale. Robyn grabbed his arm. Christine stopped mid-step. The judge nodded and banged the gavel. Court adjourned until tomorrow. Tomorrow, the tape would play. Tomorrow, the truth would finally speak for itself. They say truth has a sound, and tomorrow, the world will hear it. Quiet pause, then narrator leans in for final moment. As the Browns walked out of court, reporters shouted questions. Kody kept his head down. Robyn cried. Christine didn't look back. And for the first time in years, Mary smiled. Not out of joy, but because she knew the story was finally being told. Tomorrow's hearing would either redeem Kody Brown or destroy what was left of his family's name. But either way, the truth was coming. The courtroom is silent. Even the air feels heavy, as if the walls themselves know something terrible is about to surface. Kody sits still, shoulders stiff, eyes locked forward. Robyn holds his hand, her grip trembling. Christine stares straight at the flash drive on the judge's bench, her heartbeat loud enough to drown out every whisper in her mind. The judge nods to the clerk. Proceed. A faint click, a hiss of static, then a voice. Kody's voice, calm, commanding, dangerous. You think you have choices, he says on the recording, his tone measured but sharp. But your choices end where my authority begins. Gasps ripple through the courtroom. Robyn's eyes widen. Christine covers her mouth. Janelle lowers her head, a single tear slipping down. The recording continues. You don't understand how fragile this family is. One of you leaves and it all falls apart. You want independence? Fine, but don't come crying when God turns his back on you. Every word from the tape cuts deeper than any blade because it's proof that love had rules. The room feels smaller now. Reporters are scribbling notes, jurors exchange glances. Kody clenches his fists, whispering to his lawyer, "This is taken out of context." But the judge raises a hand. "Let it play." More static. Then another voice. Christine's. Shaky, tired but firm. "You can't keep using faith to make us fear you, Kody. This isn't God's will. It's yours." There's silence on the recording. Then Kody's reply, colder than before. "Then maybe you should start packing." A woman in the gallery gasps. The sound echoes off the walls. Robyn breaks into quiet sobs, shaking her head as if to erase the words. Kody looks straight ahead, expression unreadable. Sometimes the truth doesn't destroy you. It shows who was already broken. The tape ends abruptly. The courtroom sits frozen for several seconds. Even the judge looks shaken. He exhales slowly. "We'll recess for 10 minutes, he says. "I need to consider the implications of this evidence." But no one moves. Christine stands, her chair scraping the floor. Her voice trembles, but it carries. "That's the man I lived with. The man we all defended." Kody finally turns toward her. "You're twisting this, Christine. You always twist everything. You wanted out, so you made yourself the victim." She laughs, bitterly, painfully. "You think this is about me wanting out? It's about all of us wanting to breathe again." The cameras catch the moment. The entire internet will replay it 1,000 times. Christine, fearless, staring down the man she once called her husband. It's not the shouting that makes people listen. It's the silence that follows. The judge returns. Court will resume. Everyone sits again. The prosecutor stands, calm but deliberate. "Your Honor, this recording is part of a series. What we just heard was only a portion." Kody's lawyer shoots up. "Objection. That recording is incomplete and lacks authentication." But the judge cuts him off. "We'll determine admissibility. Counselor, continue." Another click. Another voice clip begins. This time, softer. Private. "Robyn," Kody says, "you know you're the only one who understands what I'm doing. The rest of them, they don't have faith. They just have feelings." Robyn's face drains of color. "No. No." She whispers under her breath. "If they leave," the recording continues, "we'll rebuild. Just you and me. The rest can fade." A collective gasp moves through the room. Christine looks like she's been struck. Mary grips her armrest, eyes glistening. Janelle's breathing quickens, a quiet storm behind her composure. The moment you realize you were never part of the plan, that's when your heart truly breaks. The prosecutor lets the silence hang before speaking. "Your Honor, this establishes intent. Financial isolation, emotional manipulation, and a plan to separate specific spouses while keeping public appearances of unity." Kody slams his hand on the table. "That's not what it means." "Then what does it mean?" Christine's voice pierces through. "That everything we lived was just practice until you found what you really wanted?" Kody glares at her, veins pulsing in his neck. "You're twisting love into lies." "No," she says quietly. "You did that long before this tape ever played." The judge calls for order, banging the gavel repeatedly. Reporters are whispering. Camera shutters flicker like lightning. Somewhere in the back, someone mutters, "I always knew it." Sometimes, the people we defend the hardest are the ones who never defended us at all. When order returns, the prosecutor turns to Mary. "Mrs. Brown, would you like to make a statement?" The courtroom holds its breath. Mary hesitates, fingers twisting together. Then she rises slowly. Her voice is steady, fragile, but powerful. "For years, I told myself loyalty was the same as love. That staying silent made me strong. But all it did was make me invisible." She glances toward Kody. "That tape? It wasn't a surprise. It was just the first time the world got to hear what we already lived." Her words slice through the air. Even Kody doesn't interrupt. He just sits, stone-faced, unable to meet her eyes. When truth walks into the room, lies forget how to breathe. The judge finally speaks. Court will adjourn until tomorrow. The jury will reconvene for testimony on the financial matters. Everyone stands again. The chaos resumes. Reporters shouting questions, cameras flashing. Kody pushes past the crowd, his expression collapsing into fury. Robyn follows, pleading quietly, "Just stop talking, please, stop talking." Christine watches him go. There's no triumph in her face, only exhaustion. Janelle puts a hand on her shoulder. "It's not over yet," she whispers. Christine nods. "No," she says softly, but for the first time, it finally feels real. Truth doesn't end the story, it begins the reckoning. As the courthouse empties, the sky darkens again. Cameras fade, doors close, and the echo of Kody's words still lingers. You think you have choices. Inside those walls, a family has become evidence. Love has become testimony. And tomorrow, someone will have to take the stand. The third day begins with heavy air, the kind that feels like it's carrying secrets. The courtroom is quieter than usual, not from peace, but from tension too thick to cut. Cameras are already waiting. The jury files in. Kody sits with his jaw set, eyes forward, our hands clasped so tight his knuckles turn white. The clerk calls the next witness, Robyn Brown. She rises slowly. Every camera flashes. Every whisper stops. Robyn walks to the stand with her head lowered, avoiding Kody's eyes. She takes the oath, voice trembling, and sits. The prosecutor steps forward. "Mrs. Brown, do you confirm that you are legally married to Kody Brown?" Robyn hesitates. "Yes, spiritually first, then legally. And do you acknowledge that you are aware of financial and personal decisions made under the name Eternal Faith Holdings?" Her lips part, but no sound comes out. Kody shifts in his chair, a silent warning in his eyes. Robyn finally whispers, "Yes." A low hum fills the courtroom. The prosecutor nods gently. "When was the last time you felt safe in your marriage, Mrs. Brown?" Her head lifts for the first time. "Safe," she repeats like the word is foreign. "Maybe never." When a truth finally escapes your lips, it doesn't sound like strength. It sounds like relief. The prosecutor nods. "Tell us what you mean." Robyn looks down at her hands. "He told me once that love is obedience. That to love him is to trust him, even when I didn't understand." Her voice trembles. "I thought I was helping the family, but I was helping him hide us." Kody leans forward. "Robyn, don't do this." The judge snaps. "Mr. Brown, you'll remain silent." Robyn's breath quickens. "He said it was for the family's protection," she continues, "that the accounts were spiritual, not financial. But then I found the documents, transfers, names I didn't recognize. Money going somewhere else." The courtroom erupts. Reporters scramble for quotes. Janelle's face drains of color. Christine covers her mouth, whispering, "Oh my God." Kody pounds the table. "You don't know what you're talking about." Robyn's eyes fill with tears, but she doesn't stop. "I know exactly what I'm talking about. Because one of those names was mine. He made me sign papers I didn't understand. And now they're saying I'm part of the fraud. Sometimes loyalty isn't devotion. It's the weapon that breaks you." The prosecutor moves closer, voice calm but cutting. "Mrs. Brown, are you saying you were coerced?" "Yes," Robyn says quietly. "He said if I didn't, he'd make sure I lost my kids. He said no one would believe me, that the others would turn on me too." Christine looks down, tears forming. Janelle reaches over, placing a hand on her arm. The gallery is completely silent. The prosecutor continues. "Did Mr. Brown ever threaten you directly?" Robyn nods. "Not with words, but with silence, with looks, with guilt." She pauses, swallowing hard. "He'd remind me how the others left and say I'd be next. That he'd find someone new. That God would punish me for betrayal." Kody stands suddenly. "That's enough." The judge slams the gavel. "Mr. Brown, sit down or I'll hold you in contempt." He sits, seething, eyes locked on Robyn. But she doesn't look at him. When fear finally turns into defiance, the room changes. And so do you? The prosecutor takes a deep breath. Mrs. Brown, there's something else we need to address. She opens a folder. You provided us with messages and emails that you claimed showed manipulation and control. Are these authentic? Robyn nods weakly. Then please confirm Exhibit 17, an email from Mr. Brown sent 3 months before this trial. The large screen lights up. The text appears in front of everyone. You'll stay quiet, Robyn. You owe me that. Don't forget who brought you into this family. Don't forget what I could take away. The gallery gasps. The sound is deafening. Kody looks at the screen, his face tightening with fury. His lawyer jumps up. Objection! This is fabricated. The prosecutor smiles faintly. We verified the metadata, Your Honor. The judge nods. Objection overruled. Kody mutters under his breath, You betrayed me. Robyn's voice cracks. You betrayed all of us? Betrayal doesn't echo. It detonates. The judge signals a brief recess, but the moment lingers. Cameras zoom in on Robyn's face. Her tears streak her makeup, but her eyes are steady now. Stronger. Kody's lawyer leans in to whisper, but Kody doesn't move. He just stares at her. The kind of stare that used to make everyone fall silent. But this time, Robyn doesn't flinch. When court resumes, the defense cross-examines. Mrs. Brown, the lawyer says smoothly, you've painted Mr. Brown as controlling. But you chose to stay. You benefited from his finances, his fame, his protection. Isn't it true you were the favorite wife? Robyn exhales shakily. If being the favorite means being the most afraid, then yes. A ripple of murmurs runs through the room. Even the judge pauses for a second. The defense continues. You never left. Why? Robyn's answer is barely a whisper. Because he made me believe I couldn't. Control doesn't always lock doors. Sometimes it builds walls inside your mind. The lawyer smirks, trying to rattle her. And yet, here you are, testifying against your husband. Perhaps you realize the spotlight shines brighter alone? Robyn's gaze sharpens. You think this is about fame? I'm standing here because I'm tired of pretending love is supposed to hurt. Gasps. Silence. Even Christine's face softens. Not in anger, but in empathy. For the first time, she sees not the rival, but the victim. The judge clears his throat. We'll adjourn for the day. Testimony will resume tomorrow. As the room begins to empty, Robyn remains seated for a moment. Her hands are shaking. The prosecutor whispers, You did the right thing. Robyn looks up, eyes glassy. Then why does it feel like I just lost everything? Doing the right thing rarely feels right at first. It feels like breaking your own heart. Kody stands motionless. Then, as the guards escort him out, he turns back to Robyn and says quietly, You think they'll believe you? You think they'll protect you? Wait until you see what's next. Her breath catches. For a split second, fear flashes again. But it fades just as fast. Christine watches from the hallway, her expression unreadable. As Robyn walks past, their eyes meet. No words, just shared pain. Two women who finally stopped pretending. Outside, the sky cracks open with thunder again. The storm that never ends. Cameras swarm. Headlines explode online. Robyn turns on Kody. New evidence revealed. But as the chaos erupts outside, one quiet thought burns inside Robyn's mind. What if he was right? What if it's not over? The scariest moment in any truth teller's life isn't speaking. It's realizing what might come after. Inside the judge's chambers, an investigator opens a sealed envelope. New evidence submitted overnight. A USB drive. The label reads, Personal footage. Brown residence, 2019. He frowns. Who sent this? The clerk shrugs. Anonymous. He slides it into a folder marked Exhibit 22. Tomorrow, it will play before the court, and it will change everything.